We visit with 14-year NBA vet and current FS1 analyst, Fox Sports analyst, Jim Jackson. Jim, this Penn State team has plenty of momentum behind them after last season with their NIT tournament victory and all their success, but I just want your overall take with this program headed into the 2018-19 season.
Well, you go 9-9. You have a fantastic overall record. You have the opportunity, maybe not to play in the NCAA tournament, but to divide for a championship, which is the NIT. So that breeds a lot of confidence, not only to the players, but I think into the program. Tony Carr gets his shot at the NBA. A lot of positive momentum is moving forward for Pat Chambers in Penn State. You know, it's always a challenge, because it's a football school, a lot like Ohio State. So it's challenging kind of getting the upper echelon players. But I think what you're seeing with Coach Chambers is trying to find a collective right group of guys that fit the mold on what he wants to do and the way the program wants to go. When you can do that, you can have success. So this I see as a building block, momentum moving forward for the program.
What is that mold with Coach Chambers and this Penn State program that you've seen over the past couple of years that has led to the right direction?
No other teams go outwork them. I mean, maybe at times, maybe not the most talented team, but you're not going to outwork them. I mean, and that's one thing that keeps them very competitive in the sense that they can win basketball games. I mean, they've beaten some great teams, my Ohio State Buckeyes last year. I mean, there's just, they're going to work and fight and push, and they're going to make you compete and beat them. They're not going to give you anything, and it just goes back to Coach Chambers.
Give me some names that you're going to watch for with this team. And you obviously got the Lamar Stevens of the team, but some other names to watch.
But Lamar is the guy that begins and it's like Tony Carr. I mean, it begins and ends there. I mean, because he's a special talent, athletic, can do a lot of things on the court. And what's going to happen is because he's so dynamic of a player, the defenses now pay attention. It just opens it up for other players. So that's the beauty about trying to build a team around a player that has that kind of potential, is that the offshoot is other guys get the benefit from it.
On a national scale, when you look at the Big Ten Conference, where do you see this conference ranking when it comes to the NCAA tournament and beyond this season?
Well, if you look at last year, because we were down in regards to only 4 teams, 3 teams being in there, I think it was, which is a low for the Big Ten, maybe 4. It's one of those weird dynamics where, and I cover a lot of Big East basketball. It's the same thing. You got a lot of your teams at the top, kind of like Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue predicted to be right there. Then everybody else is just bunched in. There's not a lot of separation. So even though you may be picked 9th or 8th at the beginning of the year, you can fall within that structure of being maybe 4th or 5th, depending on what happens. So I think around the league, around the country, the Big Ten maybe not getting the praise because we don't have the big names, kind of like the ACC with Duke and Kentucky and the SEC. But I think collectively what makes a conference really strong is that second layer of teams that can go in any given night or day and beat the top team. That's the strength of the conference, and I think that's the strength of the Big Ten.
From a guy who's been through, quite frankly, probably it all, with college, professional level, from the top to the bottom, for a Penn State team like this, what will it take to turn that page from the NIT, like we were talked about earlier, to making the NCAA tournament and making a run there?
Well, talent always helps.
Yeah.
Having great coaching, and what you have right now with Pat Chambers, you can't control injuries because hopefully the players that you count on a daily basis, they can stay healthy. If you do that, you give yourself a chance. And the players have to be committed to every day knowing that they have to outwork their opponent, that they're not going to be as talented at times as teams. Sometimes they are. But they got to figure out a way to be consistent in their effort and their play and go out there and lay it on the line. You can't control everything, but what you can control is your effort and energy, and that's something Pat Chambers has a lot of.
Appreciate your time, and thanks for stopping by.
No problem.